Dear participants, welcome to our session, Green Recognition Talk with Credal from Belgium. My name is Pavel Kapstoffer and I am MFC Network and Partnership Manager, and I will be moderating the session. In case of any technical issues, please direct your messages in chat to our technical coordinator, my colleague, Marcin Savitsky, who is in the backstage ready to assist you. Our session will last approximately 25 minutes. In case you would have any comments, questions to our speaker, please post them in chat. Towards the end of the session, we hope to have some space to answer them. As you might have heard, at today's opening ceremony, MFC decided to recognize Credal as 2024 leader in building sustainable and green businesses for introducing ESG scorecard in their credit analysis. MFC is trying to recognize organizations with interesting and innovative practices that serves as inspiration to others in the sector and encourage them to implement into their own practices. Today, we have with us Gregory Berthet, Head of Development of Credal, who will be able to share more details about Credal business model and initiatives helping clients to grow their sustainable and green businesses. Dear Gregory, welcome. And
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
And at the beginning, could you please briefly introduce Credal? Tell us about your goals and leadership role in introduction of innovative products and services.
Yes, with pleasure. I am going to share some slides for that. First of all, I would like to say that Credal is very delighted to be invited to this session, and it's for me an honor to present the business model of Credal and the goals, the missions, etc. To introduce a little bit more Credal, it's a very old financial cooperative indeed that has been founded 40 years ago in a very particular political context, I would say, that we have called in Belgium the bank apartheid crisis. But it was indeed a crisis at a European level. At this time, some European and Belgian banks were under suspicion to finance the political regime of South Africa. And some committed citizens and non-profit organizations in Belgium asked their bank, hey, what are you doing with our cash deposits? Can you clarify your position regarding this South African regime? And because they didn't receive satisfying answers, they decided to withdraw their money and to create with this money this cooperative, this financial cooperative named Credal. And the initial goal was to grant loans and to give expertise to the social economy in Belgium, mainly non-profit organizations, in order to help them to strengthen their missions, mainly in the sectors of fight against poverty, professional integration, access to housing, etc., etc. But over 40 years, Credal has expanded its missions, but always keeping in mind or having a focus on granting loans and giving expertise. But we were the first in Belgium to, for instance, do microloans. We were the first in Belgium to launch a special support program for women entrepreneurs. We have funded the first wind energy cooperative. We have co-founded the first community land trust, which is an approach to give access to housing for poor people, etc., etc. And we are still a major leader and innovator in Belgium regarding finance impact, ethical finance, etc., etc. Some key figures about Credal. Those figures are dated end of last year. We have almost 4,000 investors. Those are citizens and organizations too. And together, they represent a capital of 55 million euros. And a very important point is that 100% of this capital, not 99, 100% of this capital is transformed into loans to our clients. And those clients at the end of 2023 were more than 4.3 thousand clients for loans and clients for expertise too. And since the creation of the cooperative, we have granted almost €500 million of loans to more than 12,000 clients, which is a track record of which we are very proud in Credal, because it is really a significant footprint in terms of impact finance. Perhaps give you, if I have 1 minute more, a short overview of the portfolio of our activities too. Mainly, we are, to be simple, we are granting loans and we are bringing expertise. We are granting loans to the social economy up to 1 million euros, short-term, middle-term, long-term loans. Cash loans, for instance, or investment loans. We are doing what we called the financing, the funding of impact projects. And this is in this specific activity that we are using the matrix of which we are going to talk later, I suppose, in the exposé. We are granting microloans to professionals and individuals. The goal here is to give a second chance to professionals. I remember a taximan who has gone bankrupt during the COVID crisis. Credal was the only financial institution who accepted to give him a loan to buy a new car and to restart his activity. We are granted microloans to individuals too. For instance, monoparental families who needs to buy necessary goods for the day-to-day life. And the fourth pillar of our portfolio is to bring expertise and training for self-employed entrepreneurs. With a huge focus on inclusion, we are helping women, newcomers, disabled persons to create their own job. And often they are unemployed and very fragile and weak on the market. And that's a way to give them a kick and to reactivate them in the society.
Thank you, Gregory, for this brief introduction of Credal and for the exceptional track record which you present, which is not so common especially in Western Europe. Congratulations for all the achievements which you have been able to.
Thank you. But we can congratulate the 50 employees that are working hard in Credal.
You are very right. It's always a team of people behind the scene. All right, so let us now look at the sectors which you support. Please focus on those that matters most when it comes, or they focus basically on ecological footprint, zero waste, engagement in circular economy, use of organic, local and seasonal produce, and short distribution channels, because these are the most for us related to this green transition subject.
I understand. In fact, we are focusing on 9 key sectors. You can discover them on this slide. But to do a focus on the sectors related to environmental preoccupations, there are three pillars or 3 priorities that we are focusing. The first is the energy transition, the support of new mode of transport, Um, the second one is what we call green loans. Green loans, we have granted a lot of green loans with zero interest in Brussels in order to help some poor people to do energetic renovations in their housings. And the third pillar is the sustainable food, uh, produced locally by respecting the seasons and by activating short distribution channels. And the video that we have sent to you that was focusing on Refresh, one of our clients, is illustrating very well the priority that we are putting on this topic, sustainable food. And which is interesting in Credal is that very often an organization is part of 2 or 3 sectors at the same time. For instance, Refresh is doing the production of vegetable in town, but is managing a restaurant where the vegetables are transformed, and at the same time they combined their activities with the insertion of people with low qualifications. So they are part of 3 sectors at the same time, and that's really, sorry for the word, the jackpot for us, because it's impact multiple 3, I would say.
Indeed, I mean, the video which we could see at the opening ceremony today was really inspiring and yeah, motivating, maybe also for the local, population to see that such projects are developing locally in your community, and you get direct access to the fresh produce. You can plan, you can harvest, basically, you can pick up your produce on your roof. In fact, yeah, I mean, the project was having this project on the roof of the block of flats, so that's really
Yes, and it's a
very
way to
interesting initiative.
it's a way to create awareness among citizens around sustainable food too. So it's a very, very beautiful project.
Oh.
Just to give you some figures for these 3 pillars, transition, new modes of transport, green loans, sustainable food, it represents more than 15 million euros of outstanding loans, which mean 25% of our total portfolio. So it's significant at the level of Credal.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing these significant numbers. Let's move then to the subject of ESG metrics, which is actually the reason for MFC recognition. I have a couple of questions here. What was the trigger, to introduce it, and what kind of benefits it creates for your operations? And what are your experience so far with using this ESG tool? I think there are not so many MFIs or microfinance providers in general who already implemented such a tool. So it would be nice to share your experience with such a tool.
Well, first of all, it's a quite new tool in the organization because it has been set up in 2 years ago. In-house, it has been developed by the Credal's credit team, indeed. And why? Because we were observing that what we called impact finance and impact projects were becoming very trendy on the market. And we were meeting a lot of entrepreneurs, organizations that were applying for loans and that were claiming to do impact. But what is impact indeed? We have to measure it. And we were really determined to support those projects. Of course, this is our core mission, I would say. But with the preoccupation to objectivate on what is, I would say, fake, what is sincere, what projects have a really proven impact. And the goal of this matrix was to create a kind of appreciation evaluation grid in order to determine and help the advisors to determine if the project is really aiming at doing impact or not. And it is very useful because we have persons in front of us and they talk with their hearts, but we need to introduce some rationality aside I would say emotional contact. And so we have decided to set up to create this grid. This is not a scoring grid. We are not putting quotes. This is a kind of qualitative evaluation grid that is split into two parts. We have a part with general considerations. Those are criteria that Credal is using to see where the project is geographically based, the size of the organization, the purpose of the financing. We are doing, of course, a check of the prohibited sectors: no sex, no alcohol, no weapons, no gambling, etc., etc. And we are, of course, looking at the business model and the qualifications of the entrepreneur. But those general considerations are common with any analysis that we are doing for granting a loan. What is specific is the second part that we have called the ESG checkboard, which is a kind of matrix made of 26 criteria, 10 criteria related to environmental aspects, 11 criteria related to social aspects, and 5 criteria related to governance aspect. And what is, I would say, original is that we are not using the same criteria according to which sector the project is belonging. For instance, for a restaurant, we are going to consider that some criteria are most important than others. And so a restaurant is going to be evaluated differently than another project. And for this specific example, a restaurant, we have 5 mandatory criteria to be met. You know, they are in red in the matrix, and we have 8 bonus criteria. And the rule is that if one mandatory criterion is not met, the project is disqualified. And it allows the team to introduce some rationality in the way they approach the project and the entrepreneurs. And until now, year to date, because I know you are very curious about figures, we have screened more than 100 projects with this matrix, and it is systematically used when we talk about impact finance and impact projects.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing these details of your matrix. Maybe a few words about how it helped, or do you feel it helped to benefit your operations in terms of the speed, in terms of objective judgment, compare, to the past when you have not had such a tool in place? Could you say a few words on that?
Of course it helps. And that's the main goal. Because people and the people who work in the team of credit have a lot of empathy for the project and for the entrepreneurs. And this empathy can be very dangerous when you appreciate a project. Don't forget that we are granting loans, and the money that we are granted, this is not our money. This is the money of our investors. So we have really to introduce rationality in the way of appreciating, evaluating the projects. And that's the goal of this matrix, to have a common base of evaluation and not to talk only with the heart, even if that's the case, of course, in this type of projects.
Okay, thank you very much for your thoughts and sharing all this detail about the ESG metrics which you utilize in your operations. Let me see if we have any questions, because we have, I believe, only a few minutes left. But anyway, let's see if we have any. I don't see any raised hands among our attendees, and I
So
don't
it was
see.
100% clear or 100% not interesting?
Yeah, well, I believe for those who would like, to benefit, they will find a way to take a lot of positive information from your presentation. So if there are no questions before we leave, I would like to ask my colleague Marcin to launch the session evaluation poll with a single question to rate our session. Your opinion always matters, so it's important for us to understand whether you like this type of sessions. All right, I see some answers popping in already. So thank you very much, all those who responded. And let me thank Gregory for being with us, for the opportunity to learn something new. And also thank you all for joining us today. And once again, congratulations to Credal with the recognition. And before we go, I would like to invite you for the next session, Funding Digital Innovations, Opportunities and Challenges, which is about to start in 7 minutes. You will hear about EU digital innovations related policies, but also learn concrete examples with funding of digital innovations. So we hope to see you there. For now, goodbye, and I hope you enjoy our event.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Gregory. Bye.
Bye.